You got fat.
While you're laughing at that line, Robert Baratheon is marking every person he touches for death. And I mean that literally. Watch his hands. When Robert climbs off that horse, he physically touches exactly 4 people. He grabs Ned, he greets Catelyn, he ruffles Rickon's hair, and he shakes Robb's hand. Ned, beheaded. Catelyn, throat cut. Robb, stabbed through the heart. Rickon, arrow in the back. Every single person Robert Baratheon puts his hands on in that courtyard is violently murdered. No exceptions. But the touches are only half of it. The people he doesn't touch, he curses with words.
Aye, you're a pretty one.
Sansa spends 5 seasons as a captive, tortured specifically because of her beauty. Her prettiness becomes her cage.
Ooh. Shows your muscles.
Within days, Bran falls from that tower and never uses his body again.
Your name is?
Arya.
Arya spends 6 seasons having her name ripped away. She becomes no one. Robert asked for her name, and the story erased it. 7 fates, all sealed in under 2 minutes of screen time. That's not foreshadowing. That is a death sentence disguised as a greeting. That's the version the show gives you, the walking curse. But the show only gives you the ghost. The real Robert Baratheon, the one buried inside the books, was the most dangerous human being on the continent, and nobody talks about him. But here's the question I want you to hold in your head while we go deeper. Was Robert a warrior who became a drunk? Or was he always something else entirely, and the warrior was just the mask? Hold that answer. I'm going to prove one of those options wrong. In A Game of Thrones, Ned remembers that Robert stood 6'6". He fought with a warhammer so heavy that Ned himself, a veteran killer, could barely lift it. Real medieval warhammers weigh 2, maybe 4 pounds. Any heavier and you can't swing fast enough to survive. Robert's was so massive it broke every rule of what a human body should do. He swung it one-handed, in full plate armor, for hours. In military history, there's a term for this: berserker state. A documented combat phenomenon where pain, exhaustion, and self-preservation shut off entirely. The warrior doesn't fight harder. They stop being a person. They become a weapon that happens to breathe. That is Robert Baratheon on the battlefield. Not a great warrior. A human extinction event. And here's where it gets worse. At the Battle of the Bells, in a storm of swords, Robert was wounded, bleeding, hunted door to door through Stony Sept by an entire royalist army. Connington, one of the most capable commanders alive, had surrounded the town and was tearing through every building to find Robert and execute him. The small folk kept moving him from house to house. They hid him in a brothel, and when the bells rang, when Ned and the Tullys broke through, this half-dead man exploded out of that brothel and killed Miles Mooton, one of Rhaegar's finest knights. Drove Connington's entire army from the town while bleeding from wounds that should have kept him on the floor. And on the Trident, he hit Rhaegar Targaryen so hard that the hammer caved in the prince's breastplate, scattered the rubies across the river, and killed the heir to the Iron Throne in a single stroke. They named the crossing after the impact, not after the battle, after how hard this man hit. Ned called him the Demon of the Trident. That wasn't poetry. That was a clinical description. If that changed the way you see this character, even for a second, you already know what to do with that like button. Go and smash it with warhammers, Valyrian steel, wildfire, whatever you've got, just go and smash that button. Hi, I'm Nick, you're watching Cynic Cults, and we're just getting started. Because Robert isn't just written like a god, he's literally built on one. In his youth, Robert is the horned god, Cernunnos. That stag helmet isn't decoration, it's an archetype older than written language. The Beast King. Raw, primal, unstoppable. But the myth never lets the horned god stay young. He rots. He becomes Bacchus, Dionysus, the god of wine. Bloated, drunk, laughing one second, blinding rage the next. That is Robert on the Iron Throne, beat for beat. And here's where the myth turns into a nightmare. In the Greek cycle, King Pentheus, bound directly to the Dionysus story, is lured into the woods and torn apart by women so lost in madness they hallucinate he's a wild boar. They rip him to pieces, thinking he's an animal. Robert Baratheon is ripped from groin to nipple by an actual boar, in the woods, drunk on strong wine that Cersei had Lancel pour for him, 3 times the normal strength. In A Clash of Kings, Cersei confesses this directly to Tyrion. This wasn't an accident. This was an execution disguised as a hunting trip. He didn't die like a character in a fantasy show. He died like a sacrifice in a ritual that was ancient before Rome had a name. Martin didn't write this death. He inherited it from a myth 3,000 years old. The only thing he changed was the direction of the tusks. But none of that is the cruelest part. The only reason Robert was legally allowed to sit on the Iron Throne, the only reason his claim beat Ned's, Jon Arryn's, Hoster Tully's, is because his grandmother was Rhaegar Targaryen. His crown came from dragon blood. In psychology, there's a term for this: reaction formation. You don't just reject the thing you fear in yourself. You build your entire identity around destroying it. The harder you attack it, the more you prove how deep it lives inside you. The bloodline he spent his reign trying to exterminate, sending assassins after children, fantasizing about wiping every Targaryen off the earth, that was the only thing making him king. Without their blood, he's just another rebel lord. With it, he's the rightful ruler. And he hated every drop. And what did he build to replace them? Nothing. His children weren't his. Joffrey, Myrcella, Tommen, all Lannister. His brothers destroyed each other. The legitimate Baratheon line was erased within 15 years of his death. He burned down the greatest dynasty the world had ever known, and his own house didn't survive long enough to matter. That isn't tragedy. That is a self-fulfilling annihilation. But here's the part that should keep you up at night.
I only know she was the one thing I ever wanted. Someone took her away from me. And 7 kingdoms couldn't fill the hole she left behind.
Watch Mark Addy's face when he says that line. Watch his eyes. He's not performing grief. He's performing the absence of everything else. The jaw is set, but the eyes are completely hollow, like a man staring at his own headstone. That is an actor who understood that Robert Baratheon didn't drink to forget Lyanna. He drank because he remembered her every single second of every single day, and the wine couldn't touch it. He said it, out loud, to his best friend.
She belonged with me.
And nobody listened, because everyone was too busy laughing at the fat king to hear the dead man talking. Robert never wanted the throne, never wanted the crown, the wars, the Lannisters, any of it. He wanted Lyanna Stark. That's it. That's the whole story. The rebellion, the hammer, the crown, the wine, the boar, all of it was noise piled on top of a wound that never closed. So here's what I want to know, and I want you to actually sit with this one before you answer. Was Robert Baratheon destroyed by the Iron Throne? Or was he already dead the moment Lyanna died, and the throne was just the thing that kept the body standing for 17 more years? Drop it in the comments. I want to read every answer. Subscribe buttons are everywhere. I'm not going to pretend mine is special. But if this breakdown made you realize you've been underestimating this character your entire life, then you already think the way this channel thinks. We're building an empire of people who watch a scene once for the story and 10 times for the truth. And if you're still here, you're already one of us. You know what to do. Robert Baratheon was a dead man walking the moment Lyanna stopped breathing, and everything after was just the body pretending. But Ned? Ned Stark's death looked like a tragedy, like honor getting punished, like a good man losing the game. But every silence was a move. His execution was never an accident, it was his final command. I broke down exactly how he engineered it. That video is right here. See you there. Until then, stay cult.